really wearing on Vinny. And Vinny just didn't really have a lot of answers. I mean, sure, he tried to come at him aggressive and so forth, but, I mean, Phil Davis was too evasive, he was too good, and he knew what he was doing. And in the very end, Vinny tried to really swing for the fences, but Phil Davis, once again, just kept cutting him down, kept on striking him, and not to mention the fact that he just kept it cool, and every time when, and then he took him down a couple times too, but he did not follow up with any ground and pounds. He probably did some couple of kicks to the legs while the guy was laying there, meaning Vinny, but he just told him, come on, get up. I'm not playing your game, get up. So he had no choice but to get up. And then on top of that, there was also an eye poke that went on there too that the referee didn't pay attention to. And then Joe Rogan was basically telling the referee, hey, you need to pay attention there, buddy. That was an eye poke. There was just a lot of craziness that went on. But nevertheless, Phil Davis won the unanimous decision. So excellent job. And this next fight right here was the fight that didn't even go the distance. And that is Roy Nelson, Big Country, versus Cheick Congo. And the winner is Roy Nelson via knockout. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Roy Nelson, Cheick Congo's a real big guy, strong and muscular and everything else. But Roy Nelson has some devastating right. He has some devastating hands, and especially being a Kung Fu practitioner too, as well as an MMA fighter, that just makes him more accurate of a striker, if you think about it that way. I mean, Kung Fu people in the know Kung Fu know how to maneuver their body a certain way. They know how to strike a certain way with certain precision in ways that, you know, are not necessarily was taught. I mean, yeah, there's always ways you can do it harder, but then there's ways you can actually, well, do it from the internal and actually do it hard and really make an impact. And boy, then Roy Nelson made an impact with a punch, because let's be honest, sure, they started out, you know, try to fight, and actually Cheick Congo was more or less evasive because he didn't want to get it rocked. They was tied up against the fence for a while and so forth. But the thing about it is what, of course, then the referee broke it off and put him back in the middle of the ring, which I thought was pretty strange. I'm like, wait a minute, these two were working. What was going on with that? And Joe Rogan was out there, why did he do it? Let him work, you know. But the referee made a decision and let them work again, and it went against schedule. And this time, Big Country went and threw a nice over right hand to the head of Cheick Congo. Cheick Congo went down, and then he went and actually hit him again while he was down, and that's when he went out. And the referee awarded him a knockout victory. Wow, that was extremely devastating. So congratulations, Roy Nelson, and also a knockout victory against Cheick Congo. And now he's calling out for a title fight against whoever's the champion. Now, I don't know. I don't know. He hasn't really done as hot against the bigger, tougher guys like Frank Mir and some of the other, or Dos Santos, for instance. And I think if he really wants to get a title shot, he needs to win at least 2 more fights, I believe, against the real top heavyweights at this point. And there are a lot of top heavyweights right now who are going up. And he needs to start winning more fights if he's going to be considered seriously. And I can tag him seriously as a champion. But he just needs to win more fights. That's all there is to it. He just needs to win more fights. And get in better shape, win more fights, knock people out like he did with Cheick Congo, and then knock the champion out, become a world champion, and then boom, here he is. He'll be on top of the world. It ain't going to take much for Big Country to become a world champion if he remains focused enough. Now, I think now Big Country is hungry. He's got that fire again. Let's see what happens next. I can't wait to see him fight more. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. So now to the co-main event, featuring Michael Bisping versus Alan Belcher, and the winner is Michael Bisping. Excuse me. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you one other thing. Oh no. Let me reiterate back on something before I continue this. I just remembered something. Jim Miller and Patrick Healy fight. That was another screw up that happened too. I almost forgot about that. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went over me. Anyways, let me explain to you something on that. So anyways, when the fight was over, when Jim Miller was awake and everything, then the referee they do the ritual, they do the normal thing, raise the winner's hand when Michael Buffer calls upon it, right? Well, Michael Buffer was saying, here's your winner by submission, Jim Miller. Oops, excuse me, Pat Healy. forgot to tell you that Bruce Buffer screwed up on actually saying the loser rather than saying the winner of this fight, because I'm sure he's so used to saying Jim Miller's name because Jim Miller has won so many fights. But the fact that Jim Miller lost tonight, and yet Pat Healy gets his hand raised by the referee anyway, but was screwed up by Bruce Buffer. So Joe Rogan went up and called him. Asked him, "Well, now that you submit Jim Miller, but now you've got Bruce Buffer screwing you up your name for the very first time, messing you up. How does that feel? Be the first guy that Bruce Buffer screwed up." So I forgot to tell you that part of it, guys, and I'm sorry about that. Now I just came to me. Like I said, that was so that was one of the funniest moments I've seen in any UFC event. Bruce Buffer screwing up like that. Oh my goodness! Wow. Any event, let me now get back into the co-main event, if we will. Now the co-main event featured Michael Bisping versus Alan Belcher, and the winner is Michael Bisping via technical decision. Now, what does that necessarily mean? Let me put it like this: it almost went the distance. What happened was, sure, Alan Belcher came out, and and he basically came out was strong and everything with Michael Bisping, but Michael Bisping from the very beginning, though, was fast, was smooth and fluid, and not in combinations and nice shots, and just throughout the whole fight, Michael Bisping wanted it more. And I had a friend of mine that basically said, "Well, Alan Belcher would beat him. Michael Bisping won't get it." I said, "No, you're wrong. Michael Bisping will get it because he wants it more. He wants it more. He wants to prove himself more." Michael Bisping was embarrassed by his loss against Bedford. He felt that his title shot was slipped right out of his fingers due to him losing to Bedford last fight that he had. And so he really wanted to prove a point tonight. He really wanted to show the world that, hey, he's not going anywhere. He wants that title shot. He wants to prove that he's the best, and he wants to be the best. And so tonight, he really showcased it. And unfortunately, the technical decision once again. Alan didn't want this enough. He didn't really. Not to mention he didn't respect Michael Bisping's hands. He kept dropping his hands, getting himself hit. You just can't do something like that. You have to keep your hands up when you get in fights like that. You know what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, Michael was really outstruggling him. Like I said, the 2 rounds that he did a lot, and then in the 3rd round, of course, it was almost the end because he was trash. He was beating him up all over the place too. But of course, in the end, when he was outstriking him, and then of course Alan Belcher came at him again, Michael Bisping went back, and then was trying to defend himself, and then once again that eye poked was got so deep in that part of his eye was bleeding. Meaning of Alan Belcher's eye was bleeding, so they had to stop the fight. And Michael Bisping was going to win via unanimous decision, but since that eye poke happened again, it had a technical decision once again, the same way that happened between Ovince Preux and Gian Villante. Wow, that was really crazy. It was really crazy. Michael Bisping was winning anyway, and he was very apologetic, and I definitely can feel that from him. I really feel he was sincere. Usually Michael Bisping, he's not one of my favorite guys, and he's normally a jerk at times, just as much as Chael Sonnen is. Sometimes I think he's even a bigger one than Chael Sonnen, but the point is that Michael Bisping is an excellent fighter. He works hard, he's great conditioning, and he's hungry. He's really hungry. And despite all the trash talking they've done with Alan Belcher and everything, Michael Bisping really proved it tonight. He backed his talk. He backed it up, and that's all you can say. And I give him that respect. So what's next for Michael Bisping? Well, let's see what happens if he fights for the title, whoever the winner between Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva. So, anyways, moving forward to the main event, as the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship was on the line, as defending champion John Bones Jones versus his, of course, arch rival Chael Sonnen. And the winner, and still the UFC Light Heavyweight Champion John Jones. And how did this happen? Didn't even make it past the first round. What happened was, let's put it honest, Chael Sonnen tried to rush into him, try to get him, try to take him down, But John Bones Jones wasn't having it. He got him against the fence, did some elbows, did some knees, and then basically he came after Chael Sonnen in a way. Well, he Chael Sonnen is what basically what it boils down to. He not only threw some nice elbows, but he even took him down a couple times. But the last time he took him down with some flurry, landed with some elbows, patience, pow, and elbows, punches, and then he even landed a nice knee to the sternum when he was on the ground. That's when he was able to throw some nice, big, huge elbows, excellent punches. Referee had no choice but to stop the fight. And in the middle of it, he didn't realize this. When he was celebrating, and he was really, happy and everything, Joe Rogan and him finally looked down, and lo and behold, he had a broken toe. If anything, his toe and his right foot got broken out of place. And I thought to myself, how in the world did that happen? I thought he was healthy. He really looked healthy. He didn't look like he barely broke a sweat when he beat up Chael Sonnen, if anything. And it was just he dominated Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen had nothing tonight with him. Nothing. He just thought he brought something, but when it boils down to it, John Jones just really destroyed him. Worse than Anderson Silva ever did to Chael Sonnen. I'm a big Anderson Silva fan, but the way John Jones destroyed Chael Sonnen, my goodness. Anyways, but poor John Jones. I can't say poor John Jones because he stood out like a champion. He knows how to take things like a champion, and of course Joe Rogan told him, hey man, get a stool. And he still wanted to do an interview, so he sat in the stool, had the doctor took a look at his toe, and what happened was, then I finally found out as time went along that he injured his foot while he was scrambling with Chael Sonnen, but it was already irritated injury prior to what happened. It happened during training in Jackson's camp because obviously according to some story, there was a hole on a mat that John Jones' foot got stuck into it while he was training, and it irritated him. But I guess he didn't think it was serious enough to he still thought it was good to fight. But man, I guess that really irritated to a point where when he actually fought Chael Sonnen, it broke out of it. Wow, man, that was a really freakish injury that he had. And I'm like a John Jones, man, I hope you get better, man. I know you'll heal, and hopefully you'll heal faster and sooner rather than later. But congratulations on still being the champ. And now John Jones has just now tied up with Tito Ortiz, and he's gonna surpass the likes of Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell and all them guys. I just know it already. He's already breaking records. He's breaking faces. My goodness. And he's so damn good. He broke his own toe. I mean, man, you're so good. You're injuring yourself now too. Man, take it easy, John. Wow. I'm telling you, this was a night of just the bizarreness of this event was just so intriguing. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. And you know what? One of the things I had to question about Joe Rogan is, why did he complain so much about the eye poking? Yes, there has been a lot of eye pokings as of late, but there's also been a lot of grind shots as of late. But why is he not complaining about the grind shots or whatever? Joe Rogan's argument is, yeah, we need to do something about the gloves because this eye poking. Now we've got 2 fights tonight that got stopped by technical decisions.